Good morning, Your Majesties. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you that are new here, welcome to my YouTube channel. And happy Wednesday. Are you guys having a good Wednesday? Let me know what you guys are doing. I don't know. I just want to know. Okay, so I have a story time for you guys. This one's called House of the Seven Veils. Okay. Mara had always been fascinated by the occult, drawn to the dark and the forbidden, like a moth to a flame. Um, when she heard about the house, of Seven Veils, she knew she had to see it for herself. The mansion was said to be the site of unspeakable rituals. When a secret society practiced ancient rites under the cover of night, but no one who entered the house ever came back to tell their tale. Underteared by the warnings, Mara found herself standing before the house on a moonless night, her breath visible in the cold air. The mansion was hidden deep within the woods, its dark silhouette barely visible through the trees. The air was heavy with the scent of decay, and the forest was unnaturally silent, as if holding its breath in anticipation of what was to come. The door creaked open as she approached, revealing a dark hallway lined with candles that flickered with a sickly green light. The walls were draped in heavy black fabric, giving the impression of a funeral shroud. As Mara stepped inside, the door slammed shut behind her, and the temperature dropped. She could feel the presence of something ancient and malevolent watching her, waiting for her to make the first move. Oh gosh, Mara. Mara, what are you doing? She walked down the hallway, her footsteps echoing through the empty house. The walls seemed to close in around her, the fabric whispering as she passed. She reached the end of the hallway and found herself in a circular room with 7 doors, each one draped in a different colored veil. A tall hooded figure stood in the corner of the room, its face hidden in shadow. Welcome, the figure intoned, its low voice and filled with menace. You have come seeking knowledge, have you not? Mara nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. The figure gestured to the doors around her. Each veil represents a path, it said, but only one will lead you to the truth. Choose wisely. What does that mean? What does that mean? Mara hesitated, her eyes scanning the veils. There was something about the way they moved, as if they were alive. Writhing and pulsing with a life of their own, she felt a sense of dread growing in her stomach. But she pushed it aside. She had come too far to turn back now. Jeez. Damn. This is giving me like scary ride. Like, you know when you go into never mind. She reached out and pulled aside the veil closest to her, revealing a doorway that led into darkness. The hooded figure stepped back, its laughter echoing through the room as Mara stepped through the doorway, her fear mounting with each step. She found herself in a long, narrow corridor that seemed to stretch on forever. The walls were lined with mirrors, each one reflecting a distorted version of herself. As she walked, the reflections began to change, showing her as she would be if she had different choices in life. In some, she was successful and happy, but in others, she was twisted and grotesque. Her face a mask of pain and suffering. What? The corridor ended in a large chamber where 7 hooded figures stood in a circle, chanting in a language that made Mara's skin crawl. Make my skin crawl too. What the heck? In the center of the circle was a stone altar, and lying on the altar was a young woman, her eyes wide with terror. Mara recognized the woman from the mirror. She was herself, but from another time, another life. The figure turns to Mara, their chanting growing louder, more insistent. She tried to back away, but the door behind her had disappeared, leaving her trapped in the chamber. The hooded figures advanced on their hands, reaching out to grab her, to drag her to the altar. Mara screamed, but her voice was swallowed by the darkness. She felt herself being lifted off the ground. What? Her body laid out on the cold stone. The chanting reached a fever pitch, and Mara realized with horror that she was about to be sacrificed. Her soul offered up to whatever dark god the cult worshipped. Oh, hell no. But just as the knife descended, the chamber exploded with light. The walls began to shake, the mirrors shattering into 1,000 pieces. The hooded figures screamed as they were pulled into the light, their bodies disintegrating before Mara's eyes. She felt herself being lifted up, carried away from the chamber, away from the house. When she opened her eyes, she was lying in the middle of the forest. The house of 7 Veils nowhere in sight. The air was still the night silent. The air was still the night silent. She looked down at her hands, expecting to see blood, but they were clean. She had been spared, but at what cost? Exactly. Oh my gosh. Mara stood up, her mind racing. The knowledge she had had come at a terrible price. The truth was more horrifying than she could ever imagine. She knew now that the house was real, that the rituals were real, and she knew that the cult was still out there, waiting for the next soul foolish enough to seek them out. As she made her way back to the village, Mara vowed to never speak of what had happened, to bury the memory deep within her. But the darkness she had encountered would never leave her. It would follow her for the rest of her days, a constant reminder of the horrors that lay hidden in the shadows, waiting to consume those who had dared to seek the truth. That is so creepy. Oh my gosh. I think cults are very creepy. I've never witnessed a cult, or yeah, I've never seen one. I've never been in one. But have you guys witnessed a cult before? What was it like? Were you just like, oh my gosh, get me out of here type of thing? Let me know what your experience was. If you've seen a cult before, let me know, because I want to know. But anyway, that's going to be it for today's video. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Princess Peyton. Hit the red button to become your majesty, and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I upload a video. And I love you guys so much. You guys are the best human beings ever made, and you're the king of my heart. And the song lyrics of Taylor Swift. And I will see you guys in Friday's video. Okay, love you. Bye. Mwah.